Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Wednesday's episode of Ask Eman, where we're going to be here for the next hour, brothers and sisters, to take your questions and get them answered for you authentically according to the Quran and Sunnah, with our special guest today, Shaykh Suliman Gani. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you today, Shaykh?
Alhamdulillah, enjoying the beautiful sunny weather.
Yes. Alhamdulillah. So thank you for joining us today, Shaykh. As usual, we're going to be taking questions from our brothers and sisters at home and getting them answered, inshallah, Shaykh.
Barakallah.
How do you feel about that?
Alhamdulillah, we are really keen to get those questions on Hajj special.
Yes, Shaykh, Hajj special. So the number to call is 0203 515 0769. Otherwise, you can send your questions to our WhatsApp number, email address. And if you're watching along on YouTube and Facebook, then you're able to leave your questions at the comment section, inshallah. So Shaykh, I'd like to open the show, as we do usually, with a short reminder, inshallah. As it's a Hajj special, if you'd like, Shaykh, you can give us a reminder around Hajj.
What I really feel, especially given that, I'm hearing that tomorrow probably was going to be the hottest day in the UK, 39 degrees Celsius. And when I'm thinking about the Hujjaj who are setting out and they're going to be standing on the plains of Arafat, subhanallah, really, really good feeling to experience how it is going to be during these days of Hajj, when it's scorching, blazing, when you understand the intense heat of the sun. Can you imagine how is the heat of Jahannam? So here we are speaking about trying to manage, trying to control, trying to ensure that a person doesn't get dehydrated. This is a very great reminder that the Hujjaj, they are going to undertake a physical journey. No matter how young the person is, no matter how strong he may feel, no matter how big is his biceps and muscles, he is going to walk in the heat. And you cannot beat the heat except that you understand and learn how do you manage yourself during the days of Hajj. It is a starking reminder. Imagine on a day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the sun is going to be above our head. On such a day where there will be no shade except the shade that will be beneath the Arsh of Allah. So Hujjaj, yes, they will have their umbrella, they will have their sunglasses, they will have their water sprinklers, they will try and keep themselves cool as possible. They will hope and appreciate the ni'mah and blessings of having an air condition and air cooler during these blazing hot days. But subhanallah, every year, whatever the weather condition, you will find that there will be those that have that burning desire to respond to the call of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So compare the Hajj of the Hujjaj in our times, and let's go back a few decades ago. Go back to the year 1942, 1952 and see what the condition of the Hujjaj. Yes, indeed, we say that even though we have the tents in Mina, even though you have the fireproof tents, you have air conditions even there in Arafat. So Hajj has been made very easy. People are using all whatever they have, we say, the transportation. When they enter Masjid al-Haram, there is the air conditioned, they are having cold Zamzam, beautiful water. They have so much of blessings. But the reminder is, yes indeed, a time will come if we feel that the heat of the dunya, it is so scorching, if we cannot bear temperatures when it is soaring to 39 degrees, when you're in Makkah, when it's going to go over 45 degrees, 47, can you imagine? How are we going to be on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah? And that is where there will be 7 who will be under the shade of Allah's mercy, when there will be no shade except the shade that is beneath the Arsh of Allah. Imamun Adilun, a just ruler, a youth engages his youth in the worship of Allah. Rajulani tahabba fillah ijtama'a alayhi wa tafarraqa alayhi. Two people, when they meet and when they disperse or when they part away, yes, for the pleasure of Allah. Rajulun qalbuhu ma'allaqun bil masajid, a person whose heart is always connected and yearning for the masajid. Rajulun da'athu imra'atun dhatun nasabin wa jamalin faqala inni akhafu Allah. A person who is invited by a woman of status, of beauty, And what does he say? Inni akhafullah, I fear Allah. A person who gives that sadaqah, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand has given. A person who remembers Allah in solitude and the tears brush down his cheeks, these will be under the shade of Allah's mercy. So let's thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala indeed to reflect on how actually we should be showing our gratitude to Almighty Allah ta'ala. And yes, indeed, that last reminder of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, ni'matani maghbunun fihima kathirun minan nas, as-sihha wal faragh. Two types of ni'mah which most of the people, they are, you could say, maghboon, or unmindful of, negligent of. One is sihha, good health, and the other is faragh, free time. May Allah ta'ala give us understanding to value our time, given that we are coming close to the days of Hajj. And for those who are not setting out on these days of Hajj, they will be, yes indeed, looking forward for very blessed days that lie ahead of us. And these are the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, inshaAllah.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh, for your reminder.
Barakallah.
May Allah reward you. Our next question, Shaykh, is if someone breaks their wudu during the tawaf al-ifada, then what should they do?
Tawaf has to be done in the state of wudu. A tawaf is invalid. If a wudu breaks, that means a person will have to refresh his wudu and he will resume his tawaf. He will not have to restart, meaning if he had completed say 3 rounds or he was busy with his 4th round, he will renew his wudu, ablution, he will come back to the mataf area and he will start with the beginning of the 4th round. So that's what you have to look at, the round that was complete. And meaning most important is tawaf is invalid if it's not complete in the state of wudu.
Thank you so much, Shaykh. Now, what does it mean, tawaf al-ifada? What's that, Shaykh?
Tawaf of 3 types. I mean, one tawaf which is, the name tawaf ifada. فَإِذَا أَفَضْتُم مِّنَ عَرَفَاتٍ فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ عِنْدَ الْمَشْعَرِ الْحَرَامِ. When you proceed from Arafat, that word ifada, and you're moving, and it's connected because the Hujjaj, after they spend the days in Arafat, they will spend the night in Muzdalifah, and the next day, which is the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, they will commence the day with the pelting of Jamratul Aqaba, the largest Jamra, and you'll find Hujjaj will be وَلْيَطَّوَّفُوا بِالْبَيْتِ الْعَتِيقِ. They will go and proceed and make their way to Mecca. And that tawaf is called Tawaful Ifada. Another name is Tawaful Ziyarah. So Tawaful Ifada and Tawaful Ziyarah is one and the same. It has different names, but it is a fundamental of Hajj. It cannot be left out. A person will never be completely released from the ihram, from the state of consecration, until and unless he has completed Tawaful Ziyarah or Tawaful Ifada. And it has its days. The days of Tawaful Ifada or Ziyarah is the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, which is highly recommended. If one could not do it on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, then he can do it on the 11th of Dhul Hijjah, 12th of Dhul Hijjah, before sunset.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you for your answer. Our next question, Shaykh, is Assalamu alaikum. Could you please clarify on the following points, please? Is there any sunnah prayers before the 2 fard of Jumu'ah? And can a man with long hair, tie his hair back and pray?
When you're speaking about Salatul Jum'ah, and there is that narration, Sulaik al-Ghatfani, when he entered into the masjid, and the Prophet ﷺ told him to stand and offer his prayer. So now this is a discussion, and you will find that you have differences in the fiqh. We have al-Madhahib al-Arba'a. If you look at the Hanafi ruling, it was really more specific. It was exclusivity. It was like khusus, the reason for Prophet ﷺ instructing this companion, Sulaik al-Ghatfani, was he a Bedouin or that person when he came, so that people could be aware of his condition. But it was not li'umum, it was khusus. So sometimes we have a ruling which is very specific and is not for umum, not to be used common, and hence you have this difference of opinion. Can you do 2 rak'ats pray? Not even tahiyatul masjid, when the khutbah is being delivered, when the imam stands to deliver the khutbah, then it is like man qala li sahibik ansit faqad laghawt, whomsoever even says to his companion, be silent, he has, it's like saying, invalidating or his reward. It is like, something totally not encouraged, and hence that offering of the 2 rakats in the Hanafi fiqh, it is not allowed. Other opinions says whenever you enter the masjid, you do the 2 rakat tahiyatul masjid, and hence you have the difference of opinion.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much for your answer.
Barakallah fiqh.
Barak fiqh. We're going to take a short break now, inshallah, Shaykh, and then we're going to be back to continue with our questions.
On Hajj special.
Yes, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan.
Wayak. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in so far. As usual, we're going to take a short break for a few minutes, and then we're going to be back to continue with our show, inshallah. So until then, stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few minutes, inshallah. For now, assalamu alaikum.
اللهم أجرني من حر جهنم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the second part of today's Ask Eman show after our short break. If you've been tuned in with us, then welcome back after the break. If you've just joined, then we're going to be here for another 45 minutes, inshallah, live up until 8:30 today to take your questions, inshallah. So if you have any questions, give us a call on 0203 515 0769. Otherwise, you can send your questions to our WhatsApp number, email address. And if you're watching along online, either on Facebook or YouTube, then you're able to leave your questions at the comment section, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Welcome back after the break.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
So, Shaykh, the weather's been extremely hot in the UK.
And it's going to get hotter.
Yes, and alhamdulillah, Shaykh. Some of us enjoy it, some of us don't. It depends on preference. But, Shaykh, is there any specific dua? Is there any specific dua to make?
Yes, indeed. There is a dua to recite. La ilaha illallah wahdahu. Allahumma ma ashadda harra hadha al-yawm. Allahumma ajirni min harri jahannam. So it's like saying, ma ashadda harra hadha al-yawm. And it's a narration in Bayhaqi where how hot is this day? And then you are asking Allah Ta'ala to save you and protect you from the heat of Jahannam. So yes, indeed, one should recite this dua. La ilaha illallah wahda Allahumma or ma ashadda hadha al-yawm Allahumma ajirni min harri jahannam. Or it's like saying, asking protection from the har and the heat of Jahannam and the fire of hell. That the intense heat of Jahannam is unbearable if you really think about, as Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا. Now if the Quran uses the word غَيّا, it's a reminder that is a valley in Jahannam, and the heat of, like other parts of Jahannam also, seeking protection from that valley in Jahannam. That is how intense is the heat. So if you cannot bear this heat, remember this dua. Very important.
Thank you, Shaykh. Jazakallah khair.
Barakallah.
Just a reminder for everyone watching, if you'd like to ask a question to our Shaykh today, Shaykh Suliman Gani, then the number to dial is 0203 515 0769. So, Shaykh, as we approach the blessed month of Dhul Hijjah,
Yes.
specifically the first 10 days, and within that is a very special day, which is Yawm Arafah, the day of Arafah. What are the virtues of the day of Arafah, Shaykh?
Yes, I mean, firstly, we know when we enter into the month of Dhul Hijjah, I would love you could ask me how do we commence the month of Dhul Hijjah, but indeed we may come to that because Arafah is a very special day in the month of Dhul Hijjah. And Hujjaj will be setting out, and we know and understand there is a location where Hujjaj have to be on the plains of Arafat. So we have a very special day known as Yawm Arafah. So just understand that not all of the people are going to be on that location, Arafat. People are going to be wherever the Muslim is, he knows there is a very special day approaching. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is reported to have said, with regards to the fast of Arafah, يُكَفِّرُ السَّنَةَ الْمَاضِيَةَ وَالْبَاقِيَةَ. It is an expiation of sins, the previous year's sins and the coming year's sins. So that is the beauty and the merit of fasting on Yawm Arafah. In addition to that, there is no day where shaitan is most humiliated. You cannot even imagine where you will find that the Hujjaj standing on the plains of Arafat, seeing what condition they are coming. They have left everything. They are in the state, they are covered in dust. They are in the state where the heart is softened, and they have a very special connection to Almighty Allah Ta'ala on the day when they are standing on the plains of Arafat. But I need to draw your attention that, do you know, you cannot have Arafah on one day in the entire world, because that goes against logic. That is where I would like you to reflect and think for a moment, because you are asking me about Yawm Arafah, and I'm bringing to your attention that it is not possible to have Arafah throughout the world on the same day when Hujjaj are standing on the plains of Arafat.
Why not, Shaykh? This is breaking news.
Breaking news. Well, it's not fake news. This is really good news, mashallah. Why? Because if we want to benefit from the fast of Arafah, we need to go back to our beautiful reviving of the Sunnah. And that is my question to you.
Okay,
What are you going to do on the 1st of August?
Yeah.
Because that is the 29th of Zulqa'dah.
Okay.
Are you going to be going out to look for something very special? Or you're going to be sitting and relaxing and protecting yourself from the heat? We need to revive the Sunnah. The Sunnah is on the 29th of Zulqa'dah, which coincides with the 1st of August. Go out and observe the western horizon. And you are going to do a practical observation and attempt to sight the crescent moon to establish the month of Zulhijjah with certainty. But what happens if you don't see that moon? So now, just like how you will find that there are people in different parts of the world, and one country which I can say with confidence is Morocco. Have you heard of Morocco?
Yes, Shaykh.
In Morocco, there's a city called Marrakesh, and there's Rabat, and there's Fez. You know, this is North Africa. This is a country which has 278 locations where they go out to do the sighting of the crescent moon. Not only for the month of Ramadan and Zulhijj, they have also done for Zulqa'dah. And hence, this year, everybody is going to look for the moon on the 1st of August. But my question to you, if there is a declaration and a claim of a sighting on any country on the east of the UK, all those countries on the west will have to see that moon. And hence, there are going to be fake moons. I mean, I don't want to go into that discussion, but there is going to be a challenge where people are going to say they sighted and the hilal and the crescent. But my point to give to you is, if you want to benefit from the fast of Yom Arafah, there are countries like Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Morocco, Africa, many countries, even South Africa. I've looked at the predicted visibility maps, and the first point of sighting is going to be on our extreme west, meaning in countries like America, South America, in those places. Rest of the world, so that means, my understanding is, it has an F code. F means not visible to the naked eye. It's beyond dungeon limit. It's not possible to sight it. And it is for that reason, لِكُلِّ بَلَدٍ رُؤْيَةٍ. Every country, every region has to have its own sighting. And this reminds me of the beautiful statement of Shaykh bin Baz. Have you heard of Shaykh bin Baz, rahimahullah? His statement, من قال أنه ينبغي أن يكون المعتبر رؤية هلال مكة خاصة فلا أصل له ولا دليل عليه. This is the statement of bin Baz. So you're going to ask me, how is it that we all are not following Arafat and having the same day? I am saying there are Shaykh bin Baz himself. He himself is saying, whoever says it is necessary to take Makkah as your sighting, there is no dalil for it. There is no evidence in the Quran and Sunnah. La asla la dalil alayhi. So if you really want to benefit from the fast of Yom Arafah, then you have to see how you commence the month, and your fast will be on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah in the country that you are living in. And hence, there's going to be this challenge where people are under the understanding that Arafat is only in one place, one location. But then I can point out to you, do you know that Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha is not connected to the Hajj? And maybe you want to ask me why.
Yes, Sheikh, we'll definitely get to that. We just have to go through some WhatsApp questions from our viewers, and then we can continue with the Eid as you explained. Is that okay with you, Sheikh?
I love that. My hope is to encourage moon sighting, not moon fighting. I'm not in favor of Star Wars and moon wars.
Alhamdulillah, Sheikh. Thank you for
Barakallah fiqh.
teaching us, and may Allah bless you, Sheikh. Thank you. So our next question, Sheikh, is what do we read during the last tawaf of Hajj?
I mean, the last tawaf of Hajj is called Tawaful Wida'. Wida', that is a farewell tawaf. The Hajj, his last action before he leaves Makkah Mukarramah, is to do Tawaful Wida'. So that tawaf, there is not followed by a sa'i of Safa and Marwa. Unlike Tawaful Ziyarah and Tawaful Ifada, That tawaf is followed by a sa'i, meaning your rounds, the walking between Safa, Mount Safa and Mount Marwa. Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'airillah. But when you do tawaf al-wida, it is like saying before your departure, before you leave Makkah, closer to the time of your departure, you do tawaf al-wida, and it is a wajib act of Hajj. It should be done. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Our next question is, if someone decides to leave the jama'ah that they went to Hajj or Umrah with, does their Hajj or Umrah get accepted?
I mean, yadullahi ma'al jama'ah. Allah's hand is with the jama'ah and congregation. If you went with your Hajj and you have your companions during the journey of Hajj, Hajj is a journey where you have to learn patience, tolerance, where you have to come together, where you have to do those actions at almost about the same time. So imagine if you are leaving the Hajj and you're leaving the Jama'ah, and already on such a journey where it's supposed to be promoting unity and brotherhood, it is, but the Hajj will be valid.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We can come back inshallah after the break and go through it. For everyone watching at home, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back after a few minutes inshallah. For now, assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Eman Live. We're going to be here for the next 30 minutes, inshallah, for everyone watching along with us to take your questions and get them answered for you authentically according to the Quran and Sunnah by our Shaykh today, Shaykh Suliman Gani. So if you have any questions, brothers and sisters, as usual, pick up the phone and dial 0203 515 0769. Otherwise, you can send your questions to our WhatsApp number, email address. And if you're watching online, either on Facebook or YouTube, you can leave your questions at the comment section, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Welcome back after the break.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh.
MashaAllah, you're looking quite exhausted and tired. It seems like you are like the Hajj.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. May Allah make us from the
shifa, inshallah.
Ameen. And may Allah make us from the Hajj. So, Shaykh, the story of not the story, but the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam is very much connected to the season of Hajj, correct, Shaykh?
Correct.
Now, can we say that, Shaykh, the spirit of Hajj is in the life of the Prophet Ibrahim?
Yes, you can.
Meaning, thank you, Shaykh. I didn't even. So, how then do we approach this now, Shaykh? We know Hajj is coming, the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, Yawm Arafah, Eid al-Adha, which is Yawm al-Nahr. How do we connect ourselves now to this and the life of the Prophet Ibrahim?
Very good point you raised.
Or should we leave the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah better connected to Ibrahim alayhi salam?
Rightly pointed out, this is the time to really reflect on the life of Ibrahim Khalilullah, because the whole journey of Hajj is in essence tracing the footsteps of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now when you look at all of the action of the Hujjaj, when it comes to pelting the Jamarat, they will be walking through Mina and they will be using the 7 pebbles to strike the Jamara. 7 on the first day, they will be pelting all 3 Jamarat on the second day of pelting and the third day of pelting. In really is to create the act of revulsion of Shaitan, the spirit of revulsion against the Shaitan, who is our real enemy. Because Shaitan, he came and dissuaded Ibrahim alayhi salam. He didn't want him to execute the commandment of Allah. But Ibrahim, he is ever willing to submit to the commandment of Allah. You will note in the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, he doesn't wait for a moment to lapse between command and execution. He is always ready. And hence, Ibrahim Khalilullah, the friend of Allah. So when the Hujjaj are going to set out to Mina and then they're going to have the animal sacrificed on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, that act of sacrifice is to commemorate the act where Ibrahim alayhi salam placed his son on the ground. He was about to sacrifice his son and Allah Ta'ala sent down the animal. And hence, Muslims, wherever they are, in all parts of the world, فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ, after they have offered the salah, they will do the animal sacrifice. And when that happens on Eid al-Adha. So it has to be on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah according to the country you are living in. That is the most important. Because if you are going to do it according to the dates of the Hujjaj, then you are not following your local sightings. So therefore, and like Morocco, as I know very clearly, they will do it according to the local sighting. And hence it is not an issue. It is not connected to the Hajj. It is connected to the day. When is the day of Eid? Eid al-Adha. So Eid al-Adha, you cannot sacrifice your animal before the prayers. After the prayers, that is the real great spirit to revive. Here we are having our prayer, our Eid in the masjid, and thereafter we go home and probably there is entertainment and people are going to restaurants and eating chicken. But really it is about commemorating we are saying large animal, the cow, 7 shares. And this year also you need to be reminded that the lamb season, when you look at February, March, when you come to the days of Eid al-Adha, that animal is only going to be probably less than 6 months old. So now you have another issue. So there is another point that this year, do not buy the lamb, you have to buy the sheep, because you cannot even sacrifice an animal that is very small. It should at least be 1 year. So yes, indeed, the Muslim, all part of the world, they will be sacrificing that animal. But why? Because Allah Ta'ala وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْهٍ عَظِيمٍ. Allah Ta'ala loved the action of Ibrahim alayhi salam so much that, can you imagine that which he loved so much, his beloved son Ismail? فلما بلغ معه السعي قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك فانظر ماذا ترى قال يا أبت فعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. That is the story that we take from the Eid al-Adha, animal, the sacrificial of the animal. But then at the same time, yes, it does not matter how much you spend in the path of Allah. It is not about how much money you spend. It is about that blood. The animal has to be sacrificed. That is a very important part of Eid al-Adha. Even though we understand that لَن يَنَالَ اللَّهَ لُحُومُهَا وَلَا دِمَاؤُهَا وَلَكِنْ يَنَالُ التَّقْوَى مِنْكُمْ. It is not the blood or the flesh that reaches Almighty Allah Ta'ala. It is the taqwa.
Yes.
But Eid al-Adha,
SubhanAllah.
when I remember growing up in South Africa as a young boy, we should look forward to Eid al-Adha, because our father used to purchase the animal. My father's name also Ibrahim, and your name is Ibrahim, mashallah. But I can just imagine that here he goes, he takes us, and then we would go out to the farms, and then we would purchase the animal, and big family, so we have a nice lovely cow, or sometimes many sheep, the animals. But we should look at it, and we were excited for the day of Eid, because after the Eid prayer, we're going to actually witness the sacrificial of the animal. And this is something very amazing. Animal is purchased well in advance, and then you have a connection, and you know that
2-3 weeks, right?
Sometimes you have a you have a bond between yourself and the animal, because you are looking at it every day, and then you have to sacrifice it on the day of Eid. That is something very special. But this is obviously the inner dimensions and the wisdom behind the Eid al-Adha, Eid of sacrifice.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much.
Barakallah fiqh.
Now, Shaykh, two questions in one. What is the understanding of sacrificing an animal on the day of Eid? Is it a sunnah, or is it a obligation? And second, Shaykh, what is the sunnah of what you do with the animal? Is it the sunnah to eat all of it? Is it the sunnah to eat some of it and give away some of it? Because if we're going to follow the sunnah, we should follow it fully. If we're going to sacrifice the animal, we should do with the animal what the Prophet done, alayhi salam.
So what did he do?
That's why I'm asking you. I actually don't know, Shaykh. I forgot. I can't remember if it was Eid al-Adha or if it's what you do with the animal you sacrifice.
I mean, at the end of it, it is the spirit of animal sacrifice.
Yes.
That meat can be distributed. If you're giving 1/3 away to the poor, 1/3 to family, 1/3 you keep for yourself. You want to enjoy it. That is the animal, and it is so delicious. You've got to taste it.
What did the Prophet do, alayhi salam?
I mean, the animal was sacrificed. And, now if you're asking, we know that the Prophet ﷺ himself, every year, from the second year after Hijrah, animal was sacrificed.
Yeah.
This is when Eid al-Adha became wajib, the Eid prayer, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha in the second year after Hijrah. So the action of the Prophet ﷺ is animal sacrifice, and that Eid al-Adha is to come. So there was no Hajj. Hajj only became farad in the 90th after Hijrah. So if you are looking at every year in Medina, you can just check that.
So that's 7 years. About 7 years.
So yes. So if it became farad, and the Prophet done in the last year, the 10th of the farewell Hajj, the last Hajj. So that means in Medina, the Prophet ﷺ, Hajj was not farad. So you have to look at it. That is why there is the question that has been raised: is Eid al-Adha connected to the Hajj? You were pointing out that Arafat should be one throughout the world, but then we have to also reflect and understand what is the Sunnah way of starting your Islamic month. And because now today you have Eman channel, and you have many other satellite TVs, and you have instant communication, and that is the reason why people have an attachment, or they can see that this is what the Hujjaj are doing. Take yourself and go back maybe 20 years ago or more even. So even if you take 100 years, there was no internet. I mean, there was no even, when did the television start? So what we are trying to explain that Hajj al-Adha, there is no evidence in the Sunnah that a people, even though from the first of Dhul Hijjah, you have how many days? Even if you say 10 days, did people send delegation to find out what are the people doing in Makkah? Meaning there's no connection. So you have to bear in mind that if you want to take benefit from your animal sacrificed, you have to do your Eid prayer on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, and then فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ, that animal to sacrifice is wajib. If you're the adult and Muslim, you have to meet the conditions. If you can afford to sacrifice that animal, if it's wajib upon you during those days, then you have to sacrifice that animal. But most importantly, yes indeed, it has to be done in its prescribed time.
Thank you so much, Sheikh, for your answer. As usual, we're going to take a break for a few minutes for our last break now, and then we'll be back for the last part of our show, inshallah. So for everyone watching with us, do stay tuned and come back. Will be a few minutes, inshallah. For now, assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to our last part of today's Ask Eman show live. We're going to be here for another 10 minutes, inshallah, to take your questions, brothers and sisters. So you're welcome to give us a call or send us a message through WhatsApp. And if you watch along online, then you can send your questions our live stream on YouTube or our live stream on Facebook, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Welcome back after the break.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Shaykh. And Shaykh, if our audience or our brothers and sisters watching at home want to call us today, what number do they have to dial?
0203 515 0769.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. You heard it from the Shaykh himself. The number is 0203 515 0769. Pick up the phone. If you have any questions, give us a call, inshallah. So, Shaykh, since we're in the last part of today's show, we have an amazing season coming up for the Muslim. We have the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Now, Shaykh, we get very excited about Ramadan. And as we should get very excited. Ramadan is an amazing season. It's the best month of the year, correct, Shaykh? Is it the best month of the year?
The month of Dhul Hijj.
The month of Ramadan.
Yeah, I mean,
would you say it's the best month of the year?
I mean, you have the month of Ramadan. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. It is the month where Quran was revealed. So
it's very.
And you have a night of Layl Qadr, and you have all the fadila and virtues. So yes, indeed.
It's an excellent month. Now, Shaykh, we should we be looking forward to the month of Dhul Hijjah as we look forward to Ramadan?
Yes, indeed, because there is the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ما من أيام أحب إلى الله أن يتعبد فيه من عشر ذي الحج ولا الجهاد في سبيل الله. It was inquired, even jihad, meaning there is no better days to worship Almighty Allah Ta'ala than the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Even jihad was asked. He said, yes, ولا الجهاد, except that person who goes out and ولم يرجع بنفسه وماله, came back with, didn't return with anything, meaning it's trying to emphasize the greatness of the day. So 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, your fasting and your prayers, every night is very, very special during those days. And also it coincides with the days where Hujjaj are doing very special actions. And it is these days where there is a 9th of Dhul Hijjah where is Yawm Arafah. So yes, indeed, one can do many different types of actions, great actions, a lot of sadaqah, and prepare for your animal sacrifice, qurbani.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Now, Shaykh, when the Prophet ﷺ said there are no better actions that are more beloved to Allah than in the days of Dhul Hijjah, in the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, was the Prophet referring in general, or was the Prophet referring to the Hujjaj?
No, in general, because wal fajri wal layalin ashr, by the break of dawn, and the layalin ashr is referring to the 10 nights of Dhul Hijjah, is really referring to these very special days. So it's like saying, it has been specifically mentioned. The Hujjaj, that is already its merits, because they are going for Hajj. Al-Hajj al-Mabrur laysa lahu jazan illa al-Jannah. The Hujjaj, they are not going to fast on the day of Arafat, because they are standing there on the plains of Arafat where Shaitan is most humiliated. But there Arafat, obviously, I just want to clarify also, sometimes you have difference of opinion, different scholars, and then Al-Hajj kama yuhajju nas, and then you will hear the statement, Al-Hajj is when the people are offering the Hajj. But that is for the Hujjaj, because when you have a Hakim, you have a Qadi, Hukm al-Hakim raf'u al-khilaf. So whatever decision is made in Saudi Arabia, that is for the people, for that country, because they have a Qadi. But how can we benefit from the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah? Firstly, we have to look for the moon, start our Islamic month, and I will be at the Royal Greenwich Observatory, in fact, on Saturday, 27th of July. And we are inviting you to learn how to do the practical observation of the crescent moon, because we want to start this local sighting all over the UK. More and more people should do this action, this effort. So once we revive this great sunnah on the 1st of August, will it be sighted? And hence, when we know, even from a visibility point of view, we know it's not going to be possible to sight that about 12-hour-old moon in the UK. And also it has an F code, meaning, it's beyond dungeon limit. It doesn't meet the criteria of visibility. But nevertheless, I just wanted to draw you to that attention, because if it does happen, it's happened before, then we should not point finger for those who have decided not to follow, whatever decision is made in Saudi Arabia, because that is for their country. So we want to take benefit from the fasting, and we want to take benefit from the day of Eid al-Adha, when do we sacrifice that animal? 10th of Zulhijj.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Now, Shaykh, we have our caller on the line who'd like to ask you a question, inshallah. So, would you like to take this call, Shaykh?
No, they can ask Eman.
Ask Imam.
All right, okay. Bismillah.
Would you like to take the call, Shaykh?
Yes, Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. You are live on Ask Eman.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yes, your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Nahya al-Usmani and I'm calling from London.
Jazakallah khairan for calling in. And what is your lovely question?
My question is, my mum wants to know, since my brother, he's going to become an adult soon, would he be allowed to take my mum to Umrah or Hajj because of being mahram?
Yes, mashallah. As soon as he reaches adulthood, he is now qualified. He has reached a new level and he is now suitable to be the mahram for your mum. And don't delay, go for Umrah today.
We also would like to ask our young brother, do you have...
Well, 17 or 8 months.
17 or 8 months. What?
Yeah, 17 years and 8 months.
Yeah, I mean, that is already mahram. He's been baligh and mature long before that, many years. Even at the age, youngsters, they become baligh at the age of 12, 13, 14. All these days, yes, they can, and they can be the mahram for the female, yeah.
MashaAllah. We'd like to, can I ask you a question?
Okay.
How old are you?
13.
13, mashallah. And do you have your parents' permission to be calling us?
Yes.
Yes.
Mashallah. Are you looking forward to the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah that are coming up?
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for what you're going to be doing in the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah?
Not really sure.
Are you going to be trying to fast, inshallah?
Yeah.
Inshallah. May Allah make it easy for you. Do you have any more questions for us?
No, thank you.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for calling so much. Jazakallah khair so much. I've never said that before. Thank you so much for calling. Wassalamu alaikum. Shaykh, we have another caller now. Would you like to take the call?
Yes, mashallah. You are live on Ask Eman. Your name and where you're calling from?
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh, Shaykh. My name is Sister Fatima. I'm calling from Islam.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan. Your question?
My question is regarding wudu. Like, if you work in an environment where you have to regularly wash your hands with soap and you've got wudu, does it nullify your wudu? Does it actually break your wudu if you wash your hands with soap? And then the other one is like, if a family member cuts ties with you and you've tried your best, like to call them and they wouldn't pick up your calls, and then you've sent them messages and they wouldn't pick up your messages. I mean, will you still be sinning? Will you be gaining any sins for that? And what can you do about that?
Yes, I mean, most important is remember, it's so important to cement the ties of relationship of the family. And, you are trying, and al-badi'u bis-salami bari' min al-kibr. Whomsoever initiates the salam and greeting, they are freeing themselves from arrogance and pride. So you do whatever your best. Remember, silatul rahim, all these are... when the Prophet ﷺ, when Abdullah ibn Salam, when he enters Medina, what was the first word that he heard from the Prophet ﷺ? Can you imagine? At'imut ta'am, wasilu al-arham. One of it was silu al-arham. You should cement the arham and the womb relations. And, sallu wa nasu niyamun tadkhulu al-jannata bis-salam. I mean, that was a statement. But most important, you tried whatever you can, and if the person doesn't want to respond, then Allah Ta'ala knows the condition of your heart. May Allah Ta'ala make it easy. Remember, when you have nullifying factors, there are certain actions which invalidate the wudu. Washing your hands doesn't break the wudu. If you already are in the state of ablution, and now you're washing your hand, it doesn't affect your wudu. It's just remember, there are certain, like for example, somebody if he passed wind, somebody visited the toilet, all those actions which nullify wudu, you will have to renew it. And when you renew it, you have to do a complete wudu. So it does not matter. Once salah came in and you were still in the condition of wudu, it didn't invalidate, then that doesn't break the wudu, even if the next salah had set in. But if somebody wants to refresh his wudu, that is fine.
Thank you, Shaykh. We have another caller, so we can take this call as our last one. Assalamu alaikum to our caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name and what's your question?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your question, sister?
We're just asking about Salah. If someone is in the masjid and they're praying their Sunnah, and then the Salatul Janazah is announced, because obviously Janazah is very short, and so they've just done one rak'ah. Are they allowed to break it and just because they came for the Janazah? And is it, can some, because obviously it's got probably more reward, can they just exit the Salah? Can the Shaykh explain? Jazakallah khair. And another question, if possible, is the mayyit, a female mayyit, are they allowed to for them to have perfume? Jazakallah khair.
Understood. Jazakallah khair. We have
Yes, I
40
mean,
seconds,
the
Shaykh.
point is, if you janazah salah takes place, it is like saying even if somebody wants to make tayammum because he wants to catch with the janazah, so he doesn't even have to make wudu because he doesn't want to. Once you miss janazah, there is no qada for it, so it is better, yes, you can break your salah, join in the salah janazah, and then you start your repeat your salah, because janazah salah is just a dead moment and time. But then at the end of it, if somebody doesn't, then that's again, you may have a difference of opinion there. Other point is the perfume
for the mayyit.
for the mayyit, for the female, I mean, part of the ghusl and washing, after you wash the entire body, then you are allowed to apply perfume on the deceased and the mayyit. That's one the etiquette procedure of preparing the maid for burial.
We've reached the end of our show. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in today. Until tomorrow, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.